How's it going, everybody? It's Riley's Redzone here, back with another video. Perhaps the last video of 2022. That's crazy to say. I might get out a short one, though, before the end of the year, but this could be it. So thank you for all the support that you have given the channel this year. I feel like we've elevated the game quite a bit. I can't wait for what we're going to bring next year. Next year is going to be an awesome year of videos. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But let's focus on week 17 of the 2022 NFL season, where we started the week off with a win. I did pick the Cowboys over the Titans in what was bound to be an interesting game with players out on both sides. The Titans doing all they could to, play a lot of backups. Happy for Josh Dobbs, though. I've liked him for a while. He finally got a chance to start somewhere. But it is clear they were focusing on preparing for this Week 18 matchup against the Jags, which will decide the division. But the Cowboys got the win. That is what we predicted. So that's what happens. But now jumping to the rest of the picks, we do have guest picker Matthew, who you would remember from the Grocery Game series, is here to make these picks. So we have back-to-back-to-back Grocery Games, people. And then stay tuned for next week, what we're going to have for guest picks. Make sure you check back on that. But first game, we have an agreement here. Falcons, Cardinals, two bird teams, two red teams, two teams that have kind of been struggling this year. Both teams have switched quarterbacks multiple times. Of course, the Cardinals due to injury. Now they're starting David Blau. So he's going to get a shot here. Their only options were basically him or Trace McSorley. So they're going to go with David Blau. And the Falcons are going with Desmond Ridder, who is a rookie, probably the most pro-ready rookie. But although they haven't been doing well, me and Matthew agree here. We're going with the favorites, which are the Falcons. I believe they are out of the playoff race, but they might pick up a win here. This next game is really tough for me. I've been debating, and I'm debating if next year I switch the series a little bit or whether I stick with it. This is one of those games where the spread is Lions -6. And if it were the spread, I'm definitely taking the Bears +6. I'm not going to say I'm 100% confident they're going to win. I think that the Lions could pull this off, but I personally think that the Bears have potential with Justin Fields, but also I'm a fan of, you'll see it quite often in this video, I think that teams split their wins in the division pretty often. I don't think that sweeps. I like to kind of pick it so that a team might win one game and win the other. I normally like to kind of split those division games between two close teams. And that's what I see maybe happening in that one. And, you have a lot of division games this week. But in that one, I'm going to go with the Bears. I think that Justin Fields can show up. Matthew goes with the Lions, who totally valid pick here. Lions have been playing well. I just don't know what happened last week with that loss. I think that they could bounce back, but I think that I'm just going to say they split the division with the Bears, the wins this year, and that's why I'm going to go that direction. But that really could go either way. I think that's going to be a very good game. And then I'm going to call it, you know what, this game's going to be it for the segment. Sometimes I do this, the almost upset of the week, this week. And so if you listen to it, it's bound to happen because I've done it maybe twice, and I think both times they ended up actually pulling off the upset, but I just can't do it. It's the Jags-Texans. Now, if the Jags pulled the route that the Titans did and benched some players preparing for that Week 18 matchup, this is a different ball game. But I think that because Doug Peterson was like, well, if they're keeping score, we're going to play the guys, then I think that the Jags will be able to pull it out. I think that they're going to want to build some momentum to go against the Titans, which to me is for their benefit. I think that will actually prepare them more to go against the Titans, is to just keep that win streak going than to maybe slow down and try to pick back up, because the Titans have been slowing down like crazy. I do think this has Texans all over, but I literally was going to go Texans until I saw that. I remembered that the Texans won the first game. So I'm going to say the same thing. They split it. Matthew's going to go that direction also. So we're both going with the Jags, who have been on a roll recently. Another game where this is what I think is going to happen here. The Broncos actually played the Chiefs surprisingly close a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to say this. I think this game, Russell Wilson actually might have a decent game, like he did that first game against the Chiefs. But here's the thing. I think this defense has really regressed over the last few weeks. That was the one part you could trust about the Broncos, and that's what kind of kept them in that game against the Chiefs, is just, like keeping it within reach for the offense. I'm going to say the offense puts up a decent performance this game, but I think the defense will not be able to contain Patrick Mahomes, and that's why we're both going with the Chiefs in that game. I just don't think they're going to be able to limit the points, even though I actually think this could be a high-scoring affair. So, could be a decent game there. But then the next game, we're going to go unanimous upset here. I was a little interested to see the Patriots a favorite. I know the Dolphins have been sliding off a cliff. I think they finally bounce back here. I think that they have enough firepower, and the Patriots, just need, I think, a little bit, like, they're kind of just there right now. I don't feel super confident in them. So we're both going to go with the Dolphins. I was shocked to see them as the underdogs, but we're both going to go that direction, Tyreek, while even though Teddy's going to be the starter this week, I have enough trust in Teddy. He's been a proven veteran. I think they can get that win there. Then we're both going with the Giants. I just can't trust the Colts right now. Nick Foles was not it last week against the Chargers. They're going to roll with him again this week. The Giants almost pulled off the win against the Vikings. I think that although now I think I believe this week have an opportunity to clinch their spot in the playoffs. I think they will definitely try to do that. So I think that Dabble has a great group of players there with the way they're playing, and I think that they're going to keep it rolling against the Colts. Matthew thinks the same. Next one, Gardner Minshew likely going to start for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is doubtful, I believe, but he still technically could play. Not ruled out at the moment, but I don't think he's going to play. I think it's going to be Gardner Minshew. But he let him, I think that he did pretty well last week, although they couldn't get the win. I think that they performed pretty well. And against the Saints, Andy Dalton's actually been playing good this year, but I think that the Eagles have enough to get the job done there, and Matthew thinks the same on that one. Almost thought about taking the Panthers, but I just don't think. I think I've had more trust in the Bucks that I think they will be able to just make it work. Like in the end, I think that they even have the potential to get a playoff win. And I know that sounds bold with the way they've been playing, but I think that Bucks, I have enough trust in them to potentially do that. So we're both going that direction. Now we do have a split here. Commanders choosing to go Carson Wentz this week instead of Taylor Heineke. It's an interesting choice. I think that this has a trap game written all over it, so I'm going to take the Browns here. Deshaun's not been playing well. I don't think the Browns are particularly playing well whatsoever, but I do think that I don't know if Carson Wentz is going to have the best game, and I think that this just kind of has a trap game written all over it, and I think this is leading to the theory that the Packers are getting just about all the help they could want. I think that the Browns could pull this off. So that's my prediction there. I think that the Browns have caught me a few times where I didn't pick them and they end up winning. So I'm going to take the chance here that they do get a win. And now probably I'd say Matthew's biggest upset, probably equivalent to my Bears pick over the Lions, is Matthew going with the Raiders. They did bench Derek Carr. They're going with Jarrett Stidham. That's going to be interesting how they do. Perhaps, though, they have a decent game there. I'm going to continue with the 49ers. And Brock Purdy, that would be an insane start to a career for him if he could just keep the win streak going. But they've been performing well, debatably playing like one of the best teams in the NFC. So I'm going to go with the Niners there, although this could have the potential. This also has trap game written in it. It could be a close one. Another unanimous upset is we're both going with the Seahawks. They've been slowing down recently, but I think the Jets, even with Mike White coming back, he was not, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Zach Wilson was the problem last week. I live streamed that entire game. Zach did not do anything to help the situation. But that offensive line was goodness gracious terrible. And I did not like the play calling. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks here. They have enough on defense. I think they can stop the Jets there. They have Tariq Woolen playing good at corner. They have some good secondary pieces. And I think they'll be fine. Offensively, we'll see if they get Tyler Lockett back, but they still have DK this week. And, maybe Ken Walker can get something going. I like the Seahawks to get a nice bounce back here. Now, the game from the thumbnail. I would say perhaps the most entertaining game this week. I am a Vikings fan, but it pains me to do this, but I've done this before, and I will always rather make the pick and then they end up getting a win, and that's fine, than me pick and then get two L's. Because then if they lose and I pick them, I lose the pick, and I just am sad as a fan. And I do pick them quite often, but as a fan, you are going to. This is exactly how it goes. You're never going to be exactly fair in the middle. It seems when you have a little bit of when you know the team better and you kind of have a little bit into it, you're either going to overhype them or kind of underrate them. And this is one where this is not even underrating the Vikings. I think this game will come down to about a field goal. But here's the deal. I think that there are two elements in this, and one is related to the Vikings, and one's related to the Packers. I think, number one, by the time the Vikings go to play, I think they'll see that the Eagles won the game, and they won't have as much reason. I think they might bench a few players, and now that might be bold. There's two sides of me because I think in one hand, Kevin O'Connell looks like the type of coach who might want to play his guys getting into playoff football. I think they would, but I will also say this, having watched all of their preseason games, they did not play almost any of their starters at any point when it was not necessary. So I have a feeling that they've already started limiting some reps of some defensive guys. I think that they might start limiting further reps, which then leaves the Packers, who, as a Vikings fan, I have seen the Packers tear up some teams before, and they are riding on some momentum right now, and I still remember I've never been out on them, even when they had the loss streak. And so look at them, they're almost right back into the picture. So I think they keep it going. I will say this relating to the picture in the thumbnail. I do not think that game from Jefferson was a fluke. I think Jefferson could go for 200 again. But I do think that the Packers could win this game. I can't doubt them right now, even though I really like what the Vikings are doing. I think they'll maybe get a win against the Bears in the last week, but I'm going to go with the Packers in that one. So is Matthew, who is, also a fellow kind of fan there. So we're both in the same agreement. We kind of just see a trap game, and it's maybe what happened last week too, but it's just we've seen that team too many times. I've seen the Vikings not get a win after a great win the previous week. But then the Battle of LA, we're both going to go Chargers. The Rams put up a heck of a showing last week against the Broncos. They put up a ton of points. They look great, but I think that the Chargers right now, Herbert is actually playing pretty well. I think they're going to have momentum going into the playoffs, and now that they have it clinched, I think it's awesome for them, and they're performing really well offensively and defensively as well. I think that they have enough to get it done, and so does Matthew there. Steelers-Ravens is going to be a real tough one there. I am going to go with the Steelers here. This was a crazy close game the first time, a low-scoring game, and I think it might be the same here. Lamar is confirmed out, so I'm actually going to stick with the Steelers' win streak. I just feel like these two teams are going in opposite directions. The Steelers have been performing well. Even they had a loss a few weeks. They almost had a larger win streak than they do. They've at least been playing everybody close if they don't win the game. So I'm going to keep the momentum going. I hadn't loved Kenny Pickett, but he is playing better over the last few weeks. So I'm going to go with him over. I like Tyler Huntley as well, but I just think the Ravens have not been performing quite up to par. So I'm going to go with the Steelers there to keep some momentum. Then we have the Bills and the Bengals. Super tough. I kind of wanted to go with the Bengals, but I just got to stick with the Bills, who I've been picking towards the last few years to really do well. And this is a type of game that I think they could pull off, but this is going to be a tight one. If this was in the playoffs, this might be a different answer, but for this one, I'm going to go with the Bills. It's extremely tight. That's the direction Matthew goes, but this game could really go either way. It's two amazing teams. That I think will be perhaps. I actually in the preseason had this as the AFC Championship game matchup, and I think that could happen again. So this might be a preview of that, and I do think that it might be a different answer come playoffs. But right now I'm going to go with the Bills, but we'll see what happens there. So those are the Week 17 picks. I greatly appreciate you watching this video. Once again, thank you for the support over the past year. This channel has been just a joy to have. All of you supporting it, and this next year we're stepping it up. This next year we're going to bring a lot to the table. It's going to be, I'm going to do my best to make sure I can get some quality content out. Specifically, I think the draft content is going to be the best it has been on this channel ever. So, with that being said, thank you once again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.